From the office of you may not have even known you needed this comes a fresh new tool from System76. This time around, the gang from Denver has released a tool dubbed Firmware Update Utility. The app has one purpose and one purpose only: to update the firmware on Linux desktops and laptops running Pop! OS or other Ubuntu or Debian-derived OSs. System76 has integrated the firmware updater into the GNOME System Settings tool, although the tool can be integrated into any distribution that uses a non-GNOME desktop. This shift should clearly delineate the updating of firmware from standard system updates. That is not to say standard system updates aren't crucial, they are. Without regular updates, your system wouldn't receive security patches, software improvements, and new features. However, without firmware patches, your systems could be vulnerable to seriously damaging and hijacking firmware malware, which is why this move should be seen as so critical for Linux. Up until the Thelio, System76 was outsourcing a good amount of their hardware. With the creation of this incredible new desktop system, System76 now has the ability to control nearly every aspect of the system. Thanks to those machines being built in-house, System76 is now capable of skyrocketing their capability. With that unhinged creativity comes the ability to generate products such as the firmware updater. How the firmware updater functions is quite simple. If you open the GNOME Settings tool and click Devices, you'll see the new firmware listing. Should there be an update to any device firmware, you'll be alerted with a green Update button. Click Update and you'll be guided through the process. The System76 firmware updater not only works with System76 hardware, but with any system. According to engineer Michael Allen Murphy, the firmware updater is not exclusive to System76 hardware, nor was it meant to be. The goal of the project is to be beneficial to all users of the Linux desktop, regardless of whether they're using our hardware or not. Any Linux distribution that wants to have accessible graphical firmware updates can distribute the firmware manager on their platform, and even if they do not distribute the System76 firmware daemon with it, they can still get the same level of support for firmware updates through FWUPD.